He said, well, I dropped out of Stanford Med School. I said, my God, what are your parents saying? He goes, my parents want to kill me. And when I see Solar now, I say, do your parents still want to kill you? And we relive that moment when I said, your parents are probably so pissed at you, but you see the vision of what you're going to build at Google. The first time I met Sheryl Sandberg, which was like 4 years into Google's history, and this is an unknown fact, Google thought they were going to run out of money. This is after the Sequoia, KP, and Yahoo investments. There was a 2-month window where Google thought they'd run out of money, and Sheryl's first assignment when she worked at Google was to call me and try and round up some quick money. The sad thing is, 10 days later they said, no, AdWords is working. And guess who thought of and invented AdWords? It was Solar Kamandar, the pre-med student who was, at the time of the start of Google, the low man on the totem pole, but he thought through the business case, and he's the one that said, wait a minute, I think I know a way we can monetize this. This is after the brand was built, and Google was ready, and Solar Kamandar, one of the rank and file, is the one who came up with the idea. So let's talk about Facebook for a minute. Has anyone seen the movie? I guess the rest of you were starting the companies. So I think Zuck definitely meets the definition of anyone can do it if they think big. I met Mark Zuckerberg 6 years ago at the University Cafe in Palo Alto. Sean Parker, the co-founder of Napster, who I worked with at Napster, we were angels in Napster, went on to start Plaxo. I was the original angel in Plaxo. So when Parker went to be the president of Facebook, obviously he called me and wanted me to help mentor him. And I immediately, after this lunch with Mark, started advising the company on the impending VC round, where it was Excel versus the Washington Post competing, and Excel outbid the Washington Post, and the rest is history. But that's all well chronicled in the book, The Facebook Effect. But when I look back and see the misperception that this movie, The Social Network, is giving Facebook, I think it is sickening. Because I was there for a lot of it, and what's in the movie is not reality. The Mark Zuckerberg that I met 6 years ago was not partying all the time, and he was not sitting in depositions 5 days a week arguing with lawyers. He was working his tail off like any good entrepreneur. When I met him for the first time at the University Cafe, he completely had the vision for what Facebook is today, to make the world a more open and connected place and build community. The vision that he had has been consistent from the beginning. That's not in the movie. At the time, social networking 6 years ago was very, very new to me. I had lots of gray hair then too. And I said to Mark, how are you going to measure success with this thing called social networking? And he looked me in the eye and said, because someday I'm going to have 300 million users using this product. He was wrong. It's 500 million headed to 1 billion. That says he's humble. No wonder he didn't want to sell Facebook to Yahoo 4 years ago for $1 billion. He had the vision. He was smart enough, though, a year after that to take a $15 million investment from Microsoft at a $280 million valuation, which allowed him to keep scaling his company. At the time, Microsoft looked like they were crazy. Today, at $15 billion valuation for Facebook, they look like complete geniuses. It would be nice if the Social Network movie characterized the accomplishments of Zuckerberg and Sean Parker. I have one example. This is 6 years ago. They're in an office above a Mexican restaurant in Palo Alto, 7 or 8 people. And Sean Parker tells me, we are going to be a brand as big as Apple. Just like Andy Bechtolsheim, Parker really thought Apple had the best brand 6 years ago. And he said, so we're going to go do our first big sale to Apple so people identify the Facebook brand with the Apple brand. And I said, wow, I want to help you do that, but that's a lofty goal. 60 days later, Apple did a deal with Facebook. It was their first major contract. That is an example of thinking big and executing. That is not in the movie. So let's talk, now you tell what I think of the movie. Let's talk about Twitter for a second. Twitter, another company that's thinking big. I met Evan Williams and Jack Dorsey and Biz Stone when they had an incubator called Obvious Corp. And Twitter grew out of that. And Twitter's only a 4-year-old company. And they have just announced and acknowledged that someday they will have 1 billion users. Quite apropos, because a year ago they raised money at $1 billion valuation, and $1 per user sounds cheap. So entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes. And I need to get going. You have outgoing entrepreneurs, you have shy and reserved entrepreneurs, but the fact of the matter is, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. And you don't need a business plan, or you don't have to have graduated and gotten an MBA degree. All you need is a great idea and realize that anything is possible and you can accomplish that. In closing, entrepreneurs are the ones who build the companies and should be the sole subject of bloggers and the press, not investors. You are the ones that are innovating. The investors are lucky enough to be able to be part of it. Never forget, it's your company. It's not anyone else's company. It's the founder's company. Anyone can do it. Once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. I'd like to stop for questions. And I'd like to thank Kevin Carter, who kept the slides in sync with my chatter. And found all the content. Question?
Yeah, I'm curious, with the changing power that the founders have compared to maybe the VCs because of this competition, has it changed where you think it's easier for founders to keep control of their board? Because I know in the past, a lot of founders have said, don't lose control of your board, and it has happened. Do you think that's changing now where it's easier?
Do founders have more control now as they get a little more leverage to define who's on, to control the board of
Well,
directors?
3 seats, like I guess Zuckerberg has 3 seats, right, of the 5?
Yeah. So Mark Zuckerberg controls the majority of the board seats at Facebook. That That is an isolated, I believe that's an isolated incident. It comes out of Sean Parker having some experiences he didn't like, and so he said to Zuck, never give up control of the board. I personally believe that entrepreneurs should focus on building a great company. The board of directors is a byproduct, and the fact of the matter is, you're not going to get in a beef with the board of directors unless things are going terribly wrong.
What if they want to sell for like $1 billion and you don't?
Well, a board of directors better listen to the founder.
Okay.
Any board of directors who doesn't listen to the founder when they get an M&A offer is stupid and irresponsible, because it's not their company, it's the founder's company. And I believe all the M&A I've seen in the last couple of years, the board of directors totally respected the wishes of the founder. And there are vivid examples lately. Yelp and AdMob, just a hint. Other?
So, everybody talks about the success of TechCrunch effect, but I think the Wong Conway effect is more successful. But do you still take a board seat at all? I mean,
No, I think one of my secrets of success is I do not take board seats. I think board seats are a waste of time. I just spent 20 minutes with Dalton Caldwell at Treasury Union and accomplished 10 times more than I could going to his last 4 board meetings. We just get involved at inflection points and help the entrepreneur when they want help, and then we go away and help the next company. We don't like to waste time. That's just our strategy. Yep.
what's the most unexpected thing you've learned in your time in the Valley?
Wow, the most unexpected thing I've learned in the Valley. Well, I think probably that innovation, the pace of innovation keeps increasing and not decreasing. When we had the mortgage meltdown 3 years ago, I actually thought the pace of innovation and the number of startups would go down, and it stayed steady state, and now it's higher than ever.
What do you look for in the startups you invest today, especially early stage ones?
What we look for when we invest in a startup is mainly the quality and character of the people. So it's the people first, the idea, and the market size second and third. How about somebody in the back? Way in the back.
Don Valentine basically said that the market comes first at a conference, I think last week. So what is your take on that?
Funny enough, Don Valentine says you should judge the market first. I disagree with Don Valentine, even though we're great friends. I've always disagreed with him on that point. I think the entrepreneur comes first, the market second. But who knows who's right?
Is it crazy to start a company with one founder?
Is it crazy to start a company with one founder? I would have to say yes. It's all about building a team. And if you're a founder and you're going to build a great company, you have to build a great team someday. So why not build it the day you start the company? It's one of the first hurdles to get over.
Where do you see gaming going in the next couple of years, casual gaming?
I think casual gaming is completely exploding. It's a space we invest in. I don't profess to be a genius at it, but I think casual gaming has a long way to go and is going to be a huge market. How about way in the back again?
Do you make any international investments? And if so, what's your guiding thought on that?
Do we make international investments? We do not. We invest in Silicon Valley and New York. And New York's only for the last couple of years that we opened our eyes to the East Coast.